As far as for an LED TV goes, I am highly impressed. Originally I had it intended to get an OLED Sony model, but as I planned to do a lot of gaming with it I was concerned about screen burn. This model has decent input latency, refresh time, the visual processing of 4K is impressive, but it does falter when it comes to areas of the screen that should be black. That is because of the array of LEDs, which sometimes have a little bleed. That said, it's not highly noticeable, unless you're comparing it to their OLED TV. The smart features and response from the menus are fast and easy to use. I had some issues at first with the setup connecting to Wi-Fi. I have an old Bose soundbar, and the speakers built into the TV are comparable if not better to it. I had been gifted a 5-year-old Samsung 4K TV by a friend which only lasted a few months, so I went to my backup to my old HD Sony TV with which I didn't want to part. However, I can only describe the difference between this TV, my prior Samsung and my old Sony as the first time I ever eyeglasses on. I had my last Sony Bravia for 12 years and it's still fine and is a great TV, was way ahead of technology at the time, but I figured it's time to update, and grab a deal on Prime Day. I also went up in size from 48 inches to 65 inches since there is barely a frame around the screen, that's a whole lot more viewing area. This TV has 4 HDMI ports. So easy to plug all my devices into. I was able to get rid of so many cords, and an extra switch control and extra jacks, etc. When I power up the devices the TV sees them and I complete the setup. It has a beautiful, bright picture and I am seeing colors I never saw before. I love it. Also, it remembers my settings for different devices. For example, I like the brightness turned down for video games, and the cinema display setting for VCR. I can use my dish remote with it, or can use the TV remote. There are less dish options if I use the TV remote. The downside for me is Dish only offers one station with 4K programming. Even at 1080 high def it is much brighter and more colorful than my last Bravia which was also 1080. I can also use the TV removed to control my VCR which is handy. Less remotes laying around. It has a lot of built-in apps, but you can turn off Wi-Fi after you've registered and use it as a TV without all the intrusion. If anything changes I'll come back and change my rating, but I am sure it will be as wonderful and dependable as my last Sony Bravia which still works like new after 12 years. It's not OLED, but the black levels it displays are amazing. The 120Hz native is a must for big TVs and this one does the job perfectly with fast action. This Sony replaced a 75 Hisense with dead pixels in the first 6 months of use, which they end up closing the case the photos showed insects. But I was never happy with the image quality, despite the dead pixels. Click link in description for more reviews.